You're listening to an ATYL Media production.
Chase Elliott is going super late model racing. Thomas Beane scores a venti win at Hickory. And is South Boston Speedway allergic to bad racing? Let's talk about that.
Everyone wants to be there on Sunday, but as every short tracker will tell you, there is no Sunday without Saturday night. And every week, all across the nation, late models own Saturday night. This is the ballad of the sport's backbone, its hometown, its weekly star, and its greatest racing. This is Saturday night. This is On Tour.
Welcome back to On Tour. My name is Buddy Pulley. I head up the late model coverage for ATYL Media. I'm a writer for Short Track Scene, and welcome to On Tour All-American. If you guys have been watching the channel for a long time, been watching the show for a long time, obviously the channel is pretty new here, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you're a fan of late model racing, short track racing, you'll love what we do here. But we do race recaps for all Cars Tour events, Virginia Triple Crown, and other marquee late model stock and super late model races. Now, those only happen every 2 to 3 weeks. So, if you've seen the Gluckcast that Jeff Gluck does on Dirty Mo Media, you'll recognize the format here. This will serve a purpose to kind of fill in some of those gaps in the weeks that we don't have races, getting you up to date on any news that's happening across the short track scene. No pun intended there. As well as, winners from, weekly winners, super late model winners, winners from across the nation, to plug the segment there. And hopefully down the road, we're going to have some guests, whether it be drivers, industry members and such, to kind of give their analysis as well. So without further ado, let's get into our first segment, take you across the nation through the world of late model racing from this past weekend. Every week, all across the nation, late models own Saturday nights and even some Friday nights as well. So that's what kicks us off from this past weekend. Wake County Speedway had a late model stock feature, and it was won by Carson Hayslip. Yet another victory for Car 08 at America's favorite bull ring. Saturday, it was South Boston Speedway having twin 75-lap features, won by Peyton Sellers and Landon Pembelton. More on that later. And then Langley Speedway. Connor Hall a couple weeks ago returned home to Langley in preparation for the Hampton Heat and to shake down his family car and get in form for the Triple Crown. And it's safe to say he is well in form as he came back to Langley this past weekend and swept the evening again, winning the twin races in Car 77. Hickory Motor Speedway, Thomas Beane ended the 11-race win streak for Michael Bumgarner. We'll talk about that later. Tri-County Speedway, Landon Huffman and Ronnie Bassett Jr. put on a hell of a show, as things typically go at Tri-County Speedway. Landon Huffman scored his third straight victory for himself in his own Huffman race in number 75. The Cars Tour West was at Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway and was, of course, won by Keelan Harvick. And congratulations to Keelan's dad, Kevin, for getting inducted or getting nominated to the 2027 class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. CRA Pros was at Owasso, and it was Trayton Lapsevich scoring the victory in the Pro Late Model race there. And then Super Late Models were in action for the Pro All-Star Series on Sunday at White Mountain, where Trevor Sanborn took the victory there. You heard me prompt the question in the intro, is South Boston Speedway allergic to bad racing? And that was a statement made by our old buddy Scott Shive on the broadcast, and I think it was a correct statement to make because the racing at South Boston this year has been incredible, and that's just kind of on par for South Boston. If you don't watch South Boston Weekly, you should. It should be appointment viewing for you. It's on Flow Racing, produced by my friend Paul Burnham. Brandon Brown always puts on a great show for the fans, and then the racing kind of just speaks for itself. This past weekend was no different. I hate this was the first weekend I was not in attendance at South Boston Speedway because this was maybe one of the best races we've seen yet. It was twin 75-lap features, the first of which is the one that we're kind of highlighting here. Peyton Sellers, Landon Pembelton, they had an all-out duel to the finish. Both of them winners already this year. Peyton Sellers won the first twin on week number 2, and then the last Sobo twin features they had a couple weeks ago, Landon Pembelton won the first one there. So, both proven winners this year. Literally for the last half of this 75-lap race, or more than the last half, probably about 50 laps straight, they were side by side. Not, little nudge, little hit, there, but nothing too egregious. And it was getting down to the end of the race. Landon Pembelton just could not clear Peyton Sellers. He was on the inside of him. He could get about 3/4 of the way. He could even get a nose ahead of Sellers, but he can never get to the point of making the pass. So it's getting down to the last couple laps of the race. They're coming to the white flag into turn 3. Landon Pembelton decides it's time to go. And he kind of uses up Peyton Sellers if you're a fan of the 26, but if you're a fan of 00, 8 tires are better than 4. He kind of gets Peyton Sellers up in the dirt, as he'll say, as we'll go over here in just a few minutes. And then they go down into turn number 1, and Peyton Sellers kind of returns the favor, gives Landon Pembelton the old bump and run, and goes on to score his 67th South Boston Speedway victory. Now, let's take a look at some of the quotes from Saturday night over the short track scene where I wrote up the article here. No free plugs. Yeah. So I'm just happy for this 26 car, obviously starting off with race winner Peyton Sellers. It's just racing, man. We had a really good car early on, got free as the race went on. Landon was rolling the bottom better, and just as soon as he got to my door before the caution came out, the caution was for Chase Ferguson spinning. I believe that was the only caution of the first race here. He run me up in the dirt. As soon as he got back to my door again, he run me up in the dirt again. Gotta love Peyton Sellers' Virginia cadence. This is for the win. He would have done the same thing. The Pembeltons are just as good as friends as I got at the racetrack. We've been friends for a long time. I've thought a lot of Landon for a long time. Yeah, I moved him there, but he would have done the same thing. But then, this is where it gets spicy, puts his middle finger up and threw the bird at me all the way down the back straightaway, and that loses a few class points. And Pembelton gives him an assessment. 2-time Martinsville 300 champion and spoken like a true champion. It's just bullcrap. I raced with him, and he did it to me. Almost got right reared into turn 1. Then he never let go of me. I never even touched him. I got loose around lap 30, got into his left rear, and let him have it back. It's the same thing every year. It's repetitive. He hits every car out here, and he's done it for years. But it is what it is. Yeah, so spicy words there. Obviously, these two, they're some of the best at South Boston Speedway. So if this is going to be a heated rivalry, it's going to be one at the front of the field every week. And I think that's something we're definitely going to keep an eye on. The second twin feature was won by Landon Pembelton. It was kind of a clinic. Both of them had the field was inverted by, I think, 10. And Pembelton was able to kind of scrap his way through the field pretty quickly and dominate the show. And then Peyton Sellers, he ended up 5th in this one as well. Shout out to Connor Waddell. He's rocking 4 straight third-place finishes. So he had a really strong showing, almost beating Lee Polium in the first week. But he's had a rough patch here the past couple weeks. But it seems like he's finding some consistency there. Moving on to Hickory Motor Speedway. Coming into Saturday night, Michael Bumgarner had won 11 straight races at Hickory. And I spoke to Michael at the Cars Tour race at a Speedway. And Michael, we just got to talking about it. And Michael, man, he's a real salt of earth dude. He's really proud of what that team has built. And if you guys, are obviously don't know yet or haven't watched, he is now under the Rick Ware Racing banner, essentially. Now, what that means, really, Rick Ware is kind of helping with the funding of that car and obviously, sponsorship there. But as far as like the team members go and how the processes are going, Rick Ware kind of just has a hands-off approach there, just because of the streak Michael Bumgarner's been on. He's obviously Hickory track champion before. So coming in, everybody's wondering, will he go 12 in a row? Now Hickory has this interesting invert rule where if you've won the race before, you can start no better than a certain position. Essentially, you're starting in the back if you won the previous week, which it's a promoter thing, but also it's dumb. Just to put it frank, I don't agree with it. I think that it's a very cheap way of putting a bounty on someone, and if we're going to talk about bounties here later, I'm not a fan of it, man. If you're going to put a bounty on a guy, put some money up, really draw a crowd, draw a good field of cars. Don't do it cheaply by putting guys at the back in the field. And Thomas Beane seemed to agree. Michael Bumgarner and Thomas Beane, they've had their run-ins throughout the year, but both well-respected race car drivers and champions in their own right. Thomas Beane, obviously trying to break this streak that Michael Bumgarner's been on. He decided if he's going to do it, he's going to beat him straight up. And Thomas Beane and Michael Bumgarner both started in the rear of the field. Michael because he won the last race. Thomas Beane because he elected to run back there. The two kind of made their way through the field quick. It was only a 6-car field. Once Thomas Beane, he kind of worked through the traffic before quicker than Michael Bumgarner, got himself out to a larger lead there. And once Bumgarner got the second, he just couldn't get to Thomas Beane. And thus, the streak was over. Michael Bumgarner had been defeated, and Thomas Beane scored, as I said in the intro, a venti win, which is a really bad Starbucks pun, and I apologize for that. Take you back to the front page of Short Track Racing, Short Track Scene. Let's get some quotes here, starting off with Thomas Beane. It's been a while since we won here at Hickory. No duh. It's been a while since anybody won at Hickory, not named Michael Bumgarner. I came down pit road because we're going to beat him. We're going to beat him straight up. Absolute dog move by Thomas Beane. That's a true racer right there. We had a heck of a race car. Can't be much more excited to win in a 6-car race, but it was pretty. Hopefully we can keep this streak going. For Michael Bumgarner, obviously disappointed he couldn't keep the streak going. Saying we made some changes to the car and it really just wasn't what we needed. Thomas had a good race car. He was really good, but we'll come back, make our stuff better. It's over, alluding to the streak. But as everything out here, all the good things must come to an end. We'll regroup. We got 3 wins to start the year. Nothing to hang our heads about. Second place ain't bad. If we're mad about second place, we're doing something right. And that's for damn sure. Now, staying on the subject of Hickory Motor Speedway, the ASA Stars National Tour will be at the birthplace of the NASCAR Stars this Thursday night. If you're watching this the day it comes out, that's tomorrow, May 21st. It'll be a doubleheader weekend for them, as they'll also be at Tri-County Speedway on Saturday night. So if you're in town for Coca-Cola 600 weekend and you want to see some super late models rip, you should definitely go do that. They'll be in town. On tour, we'll have boots on the ground, and by boots on the ground, I mean Air Force Ones, and on-site coveraging will be done by me. Let's take a look at the 26 cars that will contest the Tar Heel 250. I'm not going to go through every name here, but you can pause and read, or you can go to the On Tour ATYL Instagram right there to catch up on all your short track news there. So let's take a look at some of the highlights. 2020 NASCAR Cup Series champion Chase Elliott. He's run this race past like 3-4 years. He finished second last year to Colby Howard. He was in contention to win in 2024 and blew an engine. Chase is always good here. He's going to be running, so if you're a Chase Elliott fan and you're in town, definitely come out. Chase is pretty damn good little super late model racer. So. Carson Brown, obviously he's won the first 2 ASA Stars National Tour races at New Smyrna and 5 Flags. Yeah, so he's running the full tour in conjunction with the Cars Tour. Obviously, winning first 2 races, he's a championship leader. So look for him to be quick as well. Colby Howard, as I said, he won last year's race. He's no longer full-time on the tour, but Howard, he's returning to obviously try to defend his victory. We, of course, have Snowball Derby champions Derek Thorne, reigning winner Stephen Nasse. They're going to be in attendance as typical for a Super Late model field. And then Casey Klein, if you saw the tracks release of the entry list, it listed him there for Trevor Cristiano Racing, but those two split a couple weeks ago, and we reached out to Casey, and he will not be racing on Thursday night, but he will be making a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut later this year. So yeah, Hickory should be a pretty awesome show. I've seen a few races at Hickory Motor Speedway, never a super late model race, so I'm pretty excited to see them rip. And if you're going to be there at Hickory, you see me beat bopping around, feel free to stop and say hello. Some other news before we close out. Ace Speedway is putting a $1,000 bounty on track champion Dustin Rumley. He's been undefeated this year, winning the first 4 races of the season. Yeah, $1,000 to whoever can go out there and beat him. It's going to be a tall task, I promise you that. Yeah, really wish I could be in attendance for that one, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Yeah, with that said, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. We're trying our best to bring you some of the best short track racing coverage out there, so if that's what you like, we're right up your alley. You can follow me at the Buddy Pulley. Follow us on Instagram at OnTourATYL, and of course, go over and subscribe to ATYL Media, of course, our parent channel there. And as always, support your local short tracks, and we'll see you for the recap show of Hickory and Tri-County for the ASA Stars National Tour.